Hello everyone, all 22 and a few film review. I wanted to give you guys a quick video about my favorite prospects that are left in the 2025 NFL Draft. I know a lot of people don't really know too much about the day 3 guys that kind of get left on the board for rounds 4, 5, 6, 7. So I wanted to give you guys a few names to get excited about if your team drafts these guys are players that can become kind of more than role players earlier than later in a surprising way, or at least I wouldn't be surprised. These are going to be going off according to my big board. Now, first we have Alec Aomaner out of Stanford, a wide receiver. I don't know how he's falling this far. It's got to be a injury thing or something. I don't get it. This is a guy I thought was going to go in round 2, latest round 3, a full-sized X-type receiver who just blocks his absolute butt off in the run game. He's got short hands. He's not a long separator, but he's a quick separator at the break. At the break, he has the burst out of his routes and the quickness and snap to be able to quickly separate at the break, even if he doesn't have long speed to keep that separation. I still like L.A.K.O. Manor. I think he's more than worth a third round at least. I don't know how he's fallen this far, but that's someone who can definitely play the X receiver role for you if your wide receiver room doesn't really have one of those bodies yet. Next, we're going to be talking about Shedeur Sanders. We have to talk about it at this point. I understand. I was Cam Ward since early February, since I watched these two guys. I've not been a Shedeur truther at all, but I have a second round grade on him. I think this is a guy who can have a fruitful career in the NFL if he's in the right fit, if he goes to the right place. He can perform well and be, an above average starter, maybe the top 16 to 20-ish QB. I think he can be a good player in the league. I don't know how he's fallen down this far. I think a lot of it has to do with the pre-draft process in the beginning when he was looking like more of a top 10 pick. Him and his dad were kind of saying, oh, we're going to only go to certain teams if we clear you. Like, don't draft us if you're this, and this team or whatever. I think a lot of NFL front offices didn't like that at all, didn't like the cockiness throughout the pre draft process. And a lot of them just probably took him off their board. With day 3, he is so much more than worth a pick. I understand there might be negative media coming in with him now at this point. There's going to be so much attention to whatever team he goes to because he was picked so late. But the quarterback play is worth it. If he's going to be a backup, I think that is probably can be one of the better backups in the league and can be a potential starter. So I think he's more than worth a pick at this point. Cam Scatabo out of Arizona State, running back. Oh, I forgot to talk about their big board rankings. Sorry. I like A.O. Manor was 35 ranked on my big board. He was my 7th ranked wide receiver. Shedeur Sanders was 41 on my big board, my second ranked wide receiver. Cam Scatabo, Arizona State running back, was 45 on my big board, my 4th running back. He's probably following just due to the measurements and the combine. It is what it is. Someone's going to get an absolute great early down running back who can potentially be a 3 down running back in day 3. He's going to be a dog no matter where he goes, and now he's going to even have a bigger chip on his shoulder. He's probably going to work even harder. I love the fit for whoever takes him at this point. You're going to be getting a dog. Braden Swinson, edge out of LSU. This was someone who was in my top 10 edge rankings at number 9. He was 54 on my big board. Oh, also, sorry, Dylan Sampson. Before we get into Braden Swinson, running back out of Tennessee, 49 on my big board, ranked 5 for running back, a home run hitter, can do some stuff for you in the pass game, has some decent hands, a little bit inconsistent concentration drops. He needs to hold on to the football a lot more consistently. That's probably why he's falling to day 3 is there was a lot of fumbles. But the upside is a 3 down back with him, man. I really like Sampson. Yes, there can be scary things with this tape, but if you're getting this guy is probably going to be such a good change of pace back for you, probably blossoming into something more for you down the line. Braden Swinson, edge, out of LSU. He was 54 on my big board. He was ranked 9 for my edges. I don't know how this happened. I like Savion Jones a lot. I had him ranked over his teammate Savion Jones, as a lot of other people did. A lot of people had Braden Swinson decently high. I was probably, I don't know, I don't think I was like super high or super low on him. I was probably around the middle, but someone who is definitely worth a day two pick, in my opinion, as a power rusher off of the edge. Don't really see it. You know, he's got get off, he's got length, he's got ideal size, he's got real power in his hands. There's a lot to like with him. Interesting seeing him fall this far. Whoever gets him, I think, has the potential of getting a very good number two edge rusher on their team as a just general overall pocket pusher with the upside of, you know, being potentially more. I would really like whoever's able to get him. Jack Sawyer, rank 56, position rank 10 for me. This was a little bit more of a controversial one in terms of ranking on my big board. I 100% understand why he's falling. Someone who didn't really test and didn't look super athletic on film, who doesn't have a lot of power in his hands and doesn't have long arms, which is very coveted for edge rushers. So I get it. I think he uses his hands super well. I think he's a smart player. I think he defends the run super well. I think he has a more nuanced tool bag than most of the rushers in the class. So that's why I like him, and that's why I have him this high. Now, day three, I think that's someone you absolutely take. I think you take him early day three. The run defending is just way too good, and he's such a smart player who uses their hands well that the ceiling might not be super high, but they can blossom into something off the edge that you at least want to keep on your roster as a number two or number three piece. So I think that still a very good potential pick in Jack Sawyer. CJ West, Indiana. This is another one I don't get how he's here. Was ranked 63 on my big board. My number 9 IDL. I love CJ West. Someone who is just a rock in the early down run game. Now he did play nose, more of the one tech, zero tech, two tech role at Indiana. I think he profiles better as a three tech, someone that's going to play more over the guard or in the beat gap, maybe flexing out to the 4i. I think his body type and his athleticism warrants that more. He is very strong, shows off some decent athleticism at times, has very quick hands, flashes in the run game and as a rusher. At the rusher, a lot less consistently, but a rock in the run game. I don't know how he's still on the board. If your team picks him day three, this is someone with a lot of potential. I really, really like CJ West a lot. Damian Martinez, Miami. He was my running back 7, 68 on the big board. I really like Damian Martinez's tape. I'll pound the table all day for Damian Martinez. I thought he was going to go in the latter half of day 2, late round 3. I thought we were going to see a fall in running back. Some of them have. I didn't think he was going to fall to round 4. You know, maybe because of I don't even think the athleticism is bad though, and the testing wasn't terrible either. I really like Damian Martinez a lot. This is someone with 3 down running back potential. Doesn't flash a ton in terms of his routes, but he does try to at least separate. He does catch outside his radius, even if it's not incredibly consistent. He had like 4 drops this season. Like, it's not bad at all. Someone who shows decent creativity, a lot of contact balance, a lot of churn in his feet, an absolutely high motor player. I really like Damian Martinez. He has great burst. He's full sized. I don't know how he's fallen this far. It's just I do. There's a ton of good running backs in this class. You really can't go wrong taking a running back. So it's really just how each team feels about their flavor of running back, or if they have one guy that they watched one thing that they just can't get out of their mind and they value it super highly and they want to take them. Stuff like that. Damian Martinez would be a great pick day 3. Jalen Royals, wide receiver, Utah State. He was number 75 on my big board, my 11th wide receiver. Someone who is just a very overall solid, competent outside wide receiver, not uber athletic, not an uber separator, you know, not a super high contested ball winner, and he doesn't have any like elite demon traits, and that's probably why he's falling this far. But this guy's just super solid. I have a feeling, you know, you plug him as a wide receiver 3 or wide receiver 4, this guy can just at least get open enough and get lost in space. He's got sure enough hands. He can do some yak stuff for you. Like, this is a wide receiver that ends up being a 3 or 4 in my opinion, and he's fallen pretty deep. He has fallen pretty deep. Jared Ivey, I think is falling because he wants to be an edge, and he probably shouldn't be. Ranked 81 on my big board, my 12th IDL. Played edge at Ole Miss, but just couldn't win around the edge. Just won a lot more with power and showed real NFL power in his bull rush and his stab technique. And that's why I see him as an IDL, someone that's, I think, around the lower 6 feet and like 290 or like 280, something like that. A bigger body type guy. Someone that I think would benefit really well from playing the interior. He, I think he's most likely falling just because teams might view him as an edge, or in interviews he might be like, "I want to play edge," and teams are like, "Well, we don't know then." Because if he is an edge and just only sticking to edge, I wouldn't be valuing him this highly. So in that sense, it does make sense. DJ Giddens out of Kansas State, a very, very more scheme dependent type back than the guys we went over. But if you get this guy in a gap scheme, his guy's the limit. Someone with a lot of athleticism, a lot of shiftiness, a lot of creativity, sometimes too much for his own good. But you see him just make people miss, see him explode to the next level, see him in a gap schemes flash some very nice vision of seeing space at the second level, creating space, hitting skinny holes, seeing cutbacks. In zone, it just didn't look the same at all. And so I think he's got to go to the right team, and he's got to go to the right fit. They have to have the right plan for him. That's maybe why he's falling. He's also not the most sure-handed runner, and shows some wiggle in his routes. So I like, but he's not the most sure pass protector. That could be making him fall as well. I still really like him. I think he's very, very, very worth it day three. Danny Stutzman, inside linebacker out of Oklahoma. He was my third ranked linebacker. I had him over Carson Schwessinger just because Carson Schwessinger's how he takes on blocks and how he sucks himself up in the run game super quickly extremely scares me for a linebacker that is a converted safety and doesn't have a lot of experience getting off blocks and isn't very good at it. Very, 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 very concerning for me. But Danny Stutzman has all the size, doesn't take on or see blocks super consistently, but when he does, he flashes very quick and heavy hands and the ability to have a solid base and get off the blocks. Also flashes some fluidity in his hips in the zone. He's got very nice hips. So I really enjoy Danny Stutzman. I think he's 100% worth a late third round, early fourth. I wouldn't be surprised if he went off the board quick in day three, but that's a linebacker I would be targeting 100%. Marcus Bowe out of Purdue. I don't know how he's still on the board. A guard, I had him at 88 on my big board. I had him as my 14th ranked overall lineman, including center, guard, and tackle. He was my 14th overall lineman. Really like him. Just really raw in technique. I understand why he's fallen this far. I thought someone like a 49ers or the Seahawks or the Dolphins probably would have tried to take a chance on him in the third round. This guy is super athletic, a super, super fluid mover who loves to get out of his stance and hit people. Really raw in his hand technique and his foot technique. Not the best anchor, and that's why he's one more reason why he's probably falling. Like I said, he's still raw, but super high motor, likes to get after it, very fluid mover. I think in wide zone schemes, stretch schemes where you're going to be having your lineman on the move a lot, I think he is a very valuable piece, something that could potentially become a starter for you, and if not, it's just a very, very solid backup. That is very worth it to me on day three. And then Chris Paul, a inside linebacker or off the ball linebacker out of Ole Miss. Someone I had a true third round grade on, a number 4 for me on my big board, my number 5 linebacker. I thought he was very worth a third round. Someone who's a little bit undersized, still raw. Definitely reasons why he's falling. But flashes some very, very nice stuff. And flashes the ability to get off blocks despite being undersized, even though it's not very consistent. Again, undersized, still pretty raw, but there's flashes everywhere in his game. He's a very fun player to watch, just all over the field, always getting the ball. I would take Chris Paul with an early day 3 pick, in my opinion. And then the last one, as a honorable mention, is Lan Larison out of UC Davis. And you might be thinking, why are you talking to me about a UC Davis player? Lan Larison is different, man. This guy was UC Davis's entire offense had over 2,000 scrimmage yards for them this season. Was lined up at true running back, lined up in the slot, lined up at outside receiver, and not just like running a hitch or a go, just kind of clear off people, like true routes. And not only true routes, but Land Larison has got to have the most one-handed catches of any prospect in this class. He's just out there running routes mid-game, just snagging one-handed balls over people and in front of people just for fun. This guy is a crazy prospect. I think he's about 6 foot, around 200 flat, or a little bit less than that. So not a conventional size back. He's got to work with fumbles, and he's probably not got the overall size to be a true 3 down back at the NFL, a true starting back. But as a scat back, as a weapon, as a receiving type back, this is such a fun player on day 3. Someone who probably isn't going to go early day 3, might not even get drafted. But if your team somehow gets this guy, it's going to be so fun to watch him in training camp and preseason. And you're going to be rooting all year long for this guy to just get a shot on the field because he is so fun to watch, man. An absolute feel good story. I mean, it's a player at UC Davis. You got to hope for the best for a guy like that. Those are my favorite prospects to look out for on day 3, mostly according to my big board, except for that last one. These are all guys that I thought at least had round 3 to 4 grades. Some of the top ones I even had round 2. I think these guys are worth taking. Definitely look out for them. If your team takes them, they might be getting more playing time or starting sooner than you think they might be. So, love day 3. We're going to be having in-depth draft reports after, where I'll be going through all the picks, giving overall team grades, grading each pick, talking about what I think the vision is for each pick, kind of the spot where I got them, how I would rate that player, everything. It's going to be super in-depth. It might be so long that I got to split it up into 2 videos. So be on the lookout for that. It's going to be super fun. Draft season is finally coming to a close, unfortunately, but that means we just got to start looking towards the NFL season, get to start seeing where these players might project on now that they're on actual teams. Super fun stuff. Love the all the attention and the views that the videos have been getting lately. I really do appreciate all of it from the bottom of my heart. So thank you guys. Have a great day. Thank you.